Good afternoon, folks. God bless you on this Sunday afternoon. This is Old Truth Speaker, and I come to you with another video on some sad, real sad news. And this one is about the protection of our students. Officer Scot Peterson, who President Trump called a cowardly, who studied his whole life on protecting civilians, and when it came time for him to do something, he didn't have the courage to go in and save those children's lives. This came out of the mouth of Mr. President Donald Trump, and this is accurate. And what's so terrible about this? While Nicholas Cruz, that clown, was rampaging in there. Remember, he killed 14 students and 3 educators, teachers. And what's even worse is that this Scot Peterson, this deputy, stationed at the school for the protection of the children and the educators, was stationed outside. He never even brought his cowardly. He never even brought his behind in there. Can you believe this? Let me tell you something, Officer Peterson. What the children that didn't die, that was murdered in that school, you could have saved the life that a child who had the cure for cancer, sugar, diabetes, who could have went in and cured, who was a scientist who cured world hunger. Somebody children who could have gotten together with other children educated of this age group or any other age group, but could have gotten together and came up with a solution to put God first and have world peace on the earth, where peace reign and the righteousness of God. No, while you were chicken-heartedly and cowardly hiding outside while children were being shot down by this 19-year-old clown. I'm just going to do a little reading to you. Just give you a little bit of synopsis. You already know about it. The sheriff deputy was armed and in uniform, standing outside the Florida school where a gunman was methodically killing students, authorities said. In the hour since authorities described the deputy's response has been vilified by his own department. What did you expect? You're outside hiding. You should have got you behind in there and did something and saved those lives. The deputy, Scot Peterson, clearly knew there was a shooter inside. Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said at a news conference. Something that Israel said made the sheriff Scott Israel sick to his stomach that this man was outside hiding. Lord forgive me. Was outside and didn't even come inside to save those children. This goes beyond color. This goes beyond racism. This goes beyond hatred of one another, whatever you want to, foolishness you want to call it, politics, or party politics. This is about the future of our country. These are our children out there. I don't want to hear anybody using profanity. Stay the hell off the site. This is about our children, and this is happening over and over again. See, let me tell you also, there's a big difference between an automatic, a semi, automatic, and a bumper stock, which allows a semi-automatic to become automatic. You know, when you press the trigger, instead of well, you all know what I mean. Excuse me for getting upset. I'm getting upset. Well, this is happening over and over and over and over. In short, America is more divided now, not since the 1960s when the civil rights was going strong, but since the Civil War. These are what authorities are saying. You should hear what some of the allies in Europe are saying about America. I was reading this yesterday. This isn't fake news. But getting back to what I'm saying, we need God right now. To put God first, pray and ask our Lord for all of us to pray to God for direction and the safety of this country. Anything can happen at any time. Let me tell you okay, I'm just going to read this to you just a little bit more. Trump added, he certainly did a poor job, but that's a case where somebody was outside. They're trained, they didn't react properly under pressure, or they were a coward. I mean, that President 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 Trump says deputy who waited outside during Florida school shooting may be a coward, didn't have courage. It's a real. Oof. But the president is real upset. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not talking about party politics, and I'm not talking about racism and anything. This is about our children. Don't you understand that? How divided America is now, and now we let clowns come in and shoot down our children. Look at Las Vegas. Look at Florida, that nightclub. It's just happening over and over and over. Since 9/11, I think they said it was 88. No, I'm sorry, 88 mass shootings. That's preposterous. That's insane. I think I've got the number right. Excuse me if I don't, but it's somewhere. It's the number is extremely too high. But the point is, for somebody who's mentally ill, just we need to. What I'm saying is this. Don't get me wrong. I have firearms myself. Everything I have is legal. We need to do background checks. Should be given, and President Trump said he wanted to raise the age to 21. But what do you think was wrong with this Peterson character? Yeah, I mean, this guy is just. This is what he says. He said he trained his whole life, but when it came time to get in there and do something, he didn't have the courage, or something happened. Now, Deputy Scot Peterson resigned from the post on Thursday after word got out that the 54-year-old had been the only armed deputy on the scene and had done nothing to apprehend Cruz as he killed 17 people. Instead, Peterson waited outside for upwards of 4 minutes, according to Sheriff Scott Israel, and video footage capturing the incident. Now, I mean, this is pretty disastrous. This is absolutely disgusting. See, they didn't say it right away, immediately, that this deputy was outside hiding. I mean, that he was outside. You know, the options of homeschooling seem more and more pleasing, doesn't it? Especially when you have people like this too scared and cowardly to go in and protect our children and teachers. Well, it was all wrong. We have to be more humble. Stop judging. These are our children. If the man wasn't a police officer, if he didn't feel like it, if he didn't think he had the guts, he should have resigned a long time ago. Life means more than the paycheck. We have to be careful of the people that we're electing to these offices, the people that we have protecting over our children and our families and our homes and communities. We have to be careful of these people. They're absolutely destroying America. We're at each other's throats. It's this one's fault. It's that one's fault. It's the left fault. It's the right fault. And the only one getting richer is the central banks and the big businesses and special interest groups that control these political leaders, Democrat and Republican. Because I told you before, and I'll say it again, most politicians, regardless of what party they're affiliated with, are as full of crap as a constipated elephant. Look at all these lobbyists, Democrat and Republican. It's nonsensical. No moral, no ethics, just a lot of talk. Bunch of greedy, self-serving, political buffoons. But anyway, keep this country in prayer, folks, because that's going to happen again. That's going to happen again. And they've arrested 2 or 3 more people, children, matter of fact, teenagers that was going to go do the same thing, copycats. One grandmother had to turn up her own grandson. He was going to go down there and shoot a whole bunch of people, a bunch of children. Far cry, isn't it? Turning America into a war zone, a third world country with buffoons. Let me tell you something, and I mean, we really have to put God first and pray for this country, folks, because a house divided against itself will not stand. These political miscreants are doing more harm than I mean, what a disaster. Look at Congress, look at the House. I'm going to say this and I'm finished. We have to come together. Everyone needs to come together and find out a way to protect us, our citizens, especially our children, where they're supposed to be the safest in the country in school. God bless, folks. Leave a comment, subscribe, tell me what you think. God bless. I love you and God love you also.